Welcome back, everybody, to all the poppers, the floppers, and rampagers. It's your boys, the main man, Zach, and the final boss, Knock. Zach's back this week, everybody. Coming off a huge Last of Us finale part 2 live stream that everyone was incredible, man. Everyone that jumped in, man. Appreciate all the new people out there. Zach, that music, man, that intro you made, you kind of break some tears already? We didn't even get into it.
That's all right. I'm setting the mood for tears, so grab your tissues as we say goodbye to Pedro Pascal. I'm pretty sure that's the last we're going to see of him in the series.
Yeah, that music's so well done. And no, there's no way we're going to see him anymore. I thought this was like, you have his send off, getting, beat down by Abby. And this is like the best way to send a character off, after such a brutal way. We're going to get into that as well. So all the poppers, floppers, rampagers out there, thank you for joining us. This is the 6th review for the 6th episode we've done. There's one more episode left, like Zach said in the chat. I just want to take a quick second to say everyone who supported us and through your comments from the beginning and speculations on certain things, we really appreciate you supporting this review. We don't bring these West Coast pop reviews too often, but when we do, man, the support and the fan base is incredible. And it's cool to see some of these wrestling fans and all the other stuff you might like in pop culture. So that's really cool that you guys.
I'd like to thank Knox Wi-Fi and Spectrum.
You got to be kidding me. How much of that did we get?
Your end, I think, cut.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
he just wanted to basically say thank you for everyone who showed the love and support during Daredevil Born Again reviews. We're so happy we cut those short because that show.
Oh, man. Hey, that's Zach's words. But funny enough, Key and Peele had an anger translator. Zach's my Wi-Fi translator here when that happens. Hopefully that keep happening.
All right, I'm going to translate for him again. We're going to get into this episode, so leave comments on what you thought, and leave comments on what you want to see in the finale. Next week is the finale, and that is it. I hope it doesn't take too long to come back. I think over a year is going to be a bit too much. If you're into Game of Thrones, the new Hedge Knight Game of Thrones thing is now pushed back too. So I think HBO is being very lenient with the chills rather than kind of making them, get going here. Yeah, let me see the slides we got here for you, and we'll get it started when Knock comes back in. I know he wanted to talk about some of this stuff like really badly. So let me try to find a slide in here. I don't want to talk about the beginning just yet. Hold on. I'm going to grab these slides here for a second. The beginning of the show changes some things. So basically, if you watch the live stream and you watch these past episodes with us here on the reviews, you know that I play the game in real time with this show. So I'm pretty fresh on everything that happened in the game. So we got some new stuff in this episode, especially with the beginning part here with Joel and Tommy's dad. Did you like it? Did it add something to the show for you? Did it give you some depth in here, or was it just a little bit, is it too much new stuff for you? There he is.
Spectrum, man, we're gonna have some problems. Y'all owe me a discount. We're trying to get this review out for the people that have been watching and supporting our channel. I can't even get a thank you out without you guys cutting my stuff. Zach, sorry for unprofessionalism, man.
It's not you, it's Spectrum.
Oh my goodness, where are we at so far?
We're just getting started, so I'm going to bring the slides back up here. And if you want to go into, if you want to start with the opening, I know you had some things to say about that, the new changes with Joel, Tommy, and their dad.
There we are. All right, starting the review off to the poppers, floppers, rampagers. Here we go. Starting off, yes. Just in the beginning here, before we get to that, this is Joel and Ellie. We had season 1, Joel, Ellie. This is all we're getting. This is it. This is the bow tie, the wrap on it. We started off this season, they're in such a bad space. And for people who didn't play the game, you didn't know why. Yeah. I thought this was brilliant done doing the time jumps, kind of a lot of time jumps, but it kind of worked for me playing the game. I don't know how about it worked for you, Zach, or anyone that, jumped in and not playing the game.
I think it worked. It worked obviously better with the game because you take a pause from the action and you go
Yeah.
back and you actually get to play these things in here. They tweaked some things to make it different, but I think it worked on here. So if you haven't played the game, let us know what you think about it because it is a different take on it. And I know one of the complaints online was the fact that they did all these flashbacks in one episode, and it takes the action out of everything the way the game is set up and laid out. So if let us know if you like it. I thought it was a good episode, but again, it's because I just fresh off finishing the game.
I thought it was really well done because I felt like this was again the proper send off for Pedro Pascal, for Joel, the lead character, the main person. I thought it was a great send off. And I thought they used the format they did for the Bill and Frank episode, where it's just it felt like it was this one episode story, and it's fine with me because it's Joel and Ellie. That's why I thought it really worked. And you see this backstory. He's doing all this stuff to like make her birthdays feel special. Ellie's, was born in this apocalypse world where she never had the normalcy of, learning to play guitar, going for birthday cakes, your birthday, all type of stuff. So the way he did it, I thought was good. And the good times they had were good. But at some point, as it was going on and on, it felt forced in a good way. Like it felt like just something wasn't clicking between the characters, Joel and Ellie. And I felt the tension brewing. And I really seen like brilliant acting from both of them.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think the smart part about doing this in one episode is you're not going to forget about it because it is that progress of them breaking. So the acting taking stage here, I don't know if it would have been as impactful going throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
You would have broke this episode up.
That's why I thought it was really well done. And again, for people who haven't played the game, in between the events of the first game and then where the second game starts, we have 5 years of Joel and Ellie. It wasn't all bad. Yeah. A lot of that was the good stuff that you see here. So the 5 years is a hell of a lot of time to really, get accustomed to certain things with this group and how they are as their relationship. And then finally the big moment, the happiest birthday of all time. They've been sitting behind the scenes, Zach. This is the happiest they will ever be.
Yeah.
On patrol, you find out in the game, Joel finds a museum. He scouts it out. He works it up. He's a great foreman. He works it up, makes it presentable for when Ellie gets there. And you get to this forest where they find a dinosaur. This reminds me of the giraffe scene in the first game, Zach. Just playing this game, how was this 1-for-1?
This was it was well done for the show because if you play the game, well, you go through and she gets something to reveal what about Abby's father, and that's how she kind of finds that out. This was very well done. I like the dialogue was kept the same. The shots were pretty much the same. And again, it just relied on the actors selling this. I mean, look at that shot of Pedro right there. He looks like a proud dad. And it is just a beautiful thing. And I'm glad they didn't do what they do in the game is they go through and they kill some clickers here and there when they go through on their birthday date here. And date, that's weird. Sorry. Yeah, I thought it translated really well. Did you think it was better or equal to the game?
I thought, and that's the thing. I'm gonna say it like a no contest because what works for the video game, having it go through which did and fighting clickers, you need some gameplay, you need some action. It's a game.
Yeah,
taking that out, I thought it worked fine here. There was they cut the swimming part where she's like, we find out she can swim now because Joel taught her, which is fine. But Ellie can swim now. But besides that, it's what you said. Like, look at Pedro, like a proud dad. This is like the visual stuff, seeing how the actor is and like stuff like these shots. That's what worked for me. So I thought like this worked in TV. I thought it worked in the game for its own different reasons.
Yeah.
So it was just really, really, really good stuff, man. And again, I've been saying it all season. We've been doing these reviews. The set design, the makeup artist, whoever's in charge of doing this, it all feels so inspired. I love how much attention to detail they're doing in this, man.
Yeah, and just to sidetrack off that, when they said in the after show, if you watch it on Max, how they designed the hallway with the sparkling thing.
Yeah.
Very, very, very clever. But this is what sets this apart from Walking Dead for me, is these big emotion moments that aren't just like sad because someone's dying or something like that. This is just, it's joy, it's happiness, and it's I don't know what to call them, not father and daughter, but like that dynamic of him just wanting to treat her like a daughter and make sure she's happy and taken care of and gets to experience the things that she completely missed out on.
That's a really good way of putting it, man. And again, like we'll get to it later on in the episode, but like, you know, as selfish as it might have been for him to save her, like then you get these moments. It's really tough. It's really complicated, conflicted type of situation he was in to save her as opposed to looking for a cure. Which I think we'll get to it later, but I'm pretty sure anyone in chat, did they confirm at the end that like the cure would have been a possibility? Like it was more than likely going to happen if he didn't do what he did?
I don't know why I feel like it wasn't a for sure thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if they said in the show or the game. I thought one version, they said that wasn't a sure thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It still wasn't fully sure here. So you have to factor that in. He's not a complete maniac. But then you finally get to the museum, like Zach said, they had some Dollar Tree lighting, some glitter and stuff, and hey, it worked for the budget, but it still looked good. Yep. This they built set design 1-for-1, made it exactly work how they have in the game. Again, just a beautiful moment, man. This again, not everything emotional needs to be sad, and you go through the journey, but this is just a happy moment, and I loved every bit of it.
Yeah. Just the fact that he held on to this too speaks about how he has grown, because he is, even the game, he's more broken, but this ties up more with how Joel starts season 2, because season 2 he's a little more domesticated.
Yeah, no, actually that's a great point. That's a great point, because he's doing stuff like this. All his smuggling tactics. He used to use, like you told, what's his name, Seth or something.
Yeah.
Instead of using it to, scavenge and survive, he's using it to find Legos. Like this is where we're at right now. It's crazy. And then we get to this scene, man. Joel and Ellie in the spaceship. He has the tape ready for her to experience it. And again, this is the happiest these two will ever be together. And I thought this was very beautiful. Very well done.
Yeah, it's... just seeing this again, I just any qualms I had about the episode being a little out of sync with the game, like it wouldn't make sense if they didn't do it this way. And the rise, and then the other side of it towards the end, man, everything just played out actually pretty damn well in this episode.
Yeah, I thought and then another thing I will add here, did you notice any changes in like the way that characters are written or stuff like that? Because the first 5 episodes, that was Craig. This episode, I believe the finale, that's Neil Druckmann writing, the guy who made the game. I don't know if you noticed that in this episode or not.
No, I just noticed that most of the stuff that was from the game, not the new stuff, was almost exactly word for word.
Yeah.
So, but again, the new stuff, I couldn't tell. I'll say that. I couldn't tell the difference.
Okay. Yeah, and again, man, like, it's just... This, again, I'll say it before. This is my favorite game of all time, one of my favorites of all time. And I love that, like, I'm still able to enjoy it watching the show. Me and my girlfriend been watching together. She's not really the biggest gamer, so it's for her to be able to experience something that I truly love in a video game form on the show and get that same emotions is just incredible. So I applaud them for really bringing us into that.
Yeah. Battleship didn't do that.
No, it did not. Shout out Ed Fries in the chat. What's up, fellas? Just pop in and leave a like and say hi. Doesn't watch The Last of Us so much. Not much to add to discussion. I don't know if you're a gamer, but I would check out the game if you haven't watched the show yet. I would highly recommend. Thank you for jumping in though, man.
Hey, Ed.
Yeah, crazy stuff there. And then the new scene, like we just talked about, going back to another flashback. Most shows would get killed for this many flashbacks. This is crazy. This is an interception of flashback.
This, I like the addition of this, just because the whole theme of this, at least this season that they've been talking about, is that the history of violence that travels through all these characters. So showing it being this young, and good job casting too. He's got like all these little facial features that look like Pedro.
Yeah, great job casting. Hey, we got, when your dad's a swordsman, coming in here, there's gonna be some violent stuff. He tries to protect his brother from getting an ass whooping. That's coming, maybe a little more than an ass whooping. You see Joel taking that protective stance. I thought it was well done, and I believe, I could be wrong. Someone don't quote me, but someone correct me if I'm wrong. last season we got to see Ellie and her mom, give birth, and that whole connection with Marlene. I believe it was the same episode 7, and now we can see Joel and his dad in completely new scenes. Ashley Johnson, who played Ellie's mom in the season 1. So I wonder if they're continuing, if they did that on purpose, like parallel that with the seasons. But yeah, this scene was it was what it was. We got to see some new information, which was cool. I believe his name was Javier Miller. I believe that's going with his dad's name. No sign of a mother presence at all, so it kind of gives you a little idea of how he's growing up. But yeah, and then one line he did say that was important was he hopes if Joel does have a kid that he can do a little better than he did. So he has that realization, which I thought once you get to the end of the episode really hits when Joel repeats it.
Yeah, that's to have the one thing that your dad said like that to stick with you because he was like abusive is pretty heavy. And I think Joel knows that he takes some of those traits with him.
Yeah, which is again, man, just really, really complex stuff that they have going on here. And then I believe what people have been speculating, which might be true, as you see what we highlighted there, the watch is the watch that Joel carried from his dad.
Oh,
was broken. His daughter fixed it in the beginning of the game, first season, first episode. Is that the watch he carried with him?
I didn't even think that. That's good. That is a good catch.
Yeah, and if so, that's something, again, that's new information we did not get from the game.
Nope.
So far on the ticker, we have that, and we have also Ellie became immune because her mom got bit while she was giving birth. So we have some new information here that I hope they explore upon. Maybe even a third game that, if you watch Zach's chat, people were asking for a lot of the third game. That was a lot of the questions.
Yep.
And as you said, like we said, the rising action with Joel, this is when it started to crumble a bit. Ellie, he caught Ellie getting down. Ellie, getting busy. She's drawing moths of death. She's getting with older women. It's all she want to move out the room, and now it's crazy. She's getting tats and burning herself.
It's all that Nirvana she listens to. It's all that Nirvana. 90 Nirvana posters and records in that room.
That's true. I love Nirvana though, but yeah.
I love Catherine O'Hara. She was so funny. So it's very, for me, it's tough for people to come across as really good smartasses, and she's so good. I love this listening, man.
Oh yeah. She's really good. I'm not gonna take credit for this, but someone did mention one of the big stories in The Last of Us first game. When you read the notes, was the story of Ish. You kind of find him throughout the whole game in those notes and what happened to his group. I believe that's the book that she was reading here, which is a nice little callback for people to catch on. I did not catch that myself. I seen someone mention that, which I thought was really cool. But Catherine O'Hara, I don't know if we'll see her again in this show, but she's been a brilliant addition. She's been so good. Like, so good, man. I love all her scenes. Most of her scenes make my girlfriend crack up, so I know it's just hitting. So it's really good. And I'm glad they gave her like a little mini story in here. We were told, Joel killed her husband. So we had the expectation, and we kind of see how it played out, and we kind of see why, even though it was a justified kill, why she has that friction and why she, lashed out at him in the beginning of the season.
And I think casting her was twofold because one, she's great. She can do so much great work on screen. But two, everyone loves her. So for the fact that you see her go through this, it gives you like another dig at Joel. I think they protect Joel pretty well this season as opposed to the game, but it gives you that little dig towards like, damn it, Joel, like you fucked up.
You touched on something. You touched on a few things there that's really, I think, important. Yeah, like when you have notable actors and actresses, it brings something else to it.
Today's Wi-Fi is sponsored by Spectrum. Spectrum Wi-Fi. Don't use it. If you have any thoughts on Catherine O'Hara, please pop them in the comments while Knock comes back to us. She's just so fantastic. SCTV all the way up to Beetlejuice and Schitt's Creek. She's great. Let's move on and get to a little bit more of the separation. Maybe I'd not put this in here for the separation. Ellie moves out into the garage. Ellie is you can see more Nirvana right there. Some In Utero record. This is like tough. Joel gets angry after he catches Ellie, as Knox said, getting down. And he checks himself. He doesn't become like his father. He uses anger in other ways and violence in other ways throughout the series and the game that we see. He checks himself, and he even comes to terms when Ellie starts carrying the mattress out. So that's a huge thing too. As violent as he is, and as like broken as he is in the game, and he does like these piece of crap things in here, he is strong in many ways. And the fact that he can check that and still try to want to help Ellie grow as a person is pretty important too to note. I wonder if that In Utero record is the changed one from Walmart. Yeah, there's a lot of touching things in here and a lot of aspects to Joel that, again, if we're talking about casting someone that people love, Pedro Pascal brings, because Pedro is very tough, in my opinion, to turn into Joel of the game. Joel of the game is just, I don't want to say vile, but he is just a Joel as Pedro plays him is more relatable to most people and is more easy to digest. If you get the Joel from the game, that's going to be a different story for an audience to take in. So these little scenes help out big time by having someone like Pedro play. Knock is back.
This is unbelievable. We're getting a "Don't Use Spectrum" ad on live on this review. I lost the whole train of thought. I don't know where we're at, but I'm sure Zach's held it down. Hopefully, there's no more interruptions going forward. This is unbelievable.
Spectrum, man.
But yeah, I put this one in here because I really wanted to talk about, again, like you just feel it felt effortless once they in season 1, once they finally like connected and became like closer. It felt like everything was effortless. They were just, and you saw Ellie really want to like not just have a father figure, but befriend someone. She wanted Joel to be cool with her, and that we felt all that. Now we're seeing her like completely pull back. We're starting to see that here, and Joel kind of like not knowing what to do because he knows he messed up.
Yeah,
but he doesn't know. He's not honest with her, first of all, and he doesn't know how to like fix this. He can fix everything else. He can do all these crazy stuff, but this big thing right here that's lingering, he does not know what to do here. And you kind of see Ellie pulling back. So even this, like a lot of this started to feel awkward, and not because but awkward, like because it was well acted, like awkward between the characters, not the acting. Yes. Like it started to feel like Joel was trying too hard, and Ellie wasn't, trying to do her own thing. That's why she moved out. So I really enjoyed how they played this up. And what I was trying to say before I got cut off by Spectrum, Zach, you made a great point saying they protected Joel a lot in here, and the way Pedro plays Joel is protected because these scenes, I see Pedro's face, and being a known actor, I like Pedro. So I kind of sympathize with him a little more than the game. Some people said the game, Joel's whole character got assassinated, which, could be true.
More Nirvana. There you go. Drink every time you see something Nirvana related in this episode. Radiohead's Creep too. If I never hear that song again, I'll be soon. I love it. There's just so much more Radiohead out there. Yeah, this is good stuff. He's just becoming a good parent / human being.
Oh man. But yeah, jumping into this, and then it says as we start to see their relationship sort of deteriorate. This was it wasn't a big change, but it was a change from the game. We found out Joel and Ellie, she found out the truth while they were on patrol, but it had nothing to do with Eugene. This time they're on patrol. Joel's still reluctant to bring her out. Ellie's clearly capable, but he doesn't want to do it. And we're seeing like, before this even happened, she's rehearsing some questions she wants to ask him, Zach.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought Bella did it really well. She started to feel uncomfortable with Joel.
This is going to sound really weird, but her reading those questions off, preparing to talk to him about that really heavy subject that weighs on her, that was, in my opinion, the best acting she's done, because it's so small again, everyone gets Oscars when they cry in movies. Everyone, like, you cry, whatever, that's your Oscar. And it's just the small stuff is what matters. It's the small things, how you get to know people rather than the big emotions. Again, we talked about the scene with the dinosaurs and how special that was to see happiness. These small things are the things I really care about, getting to know characters more.
Yeah, because like you really got to see her struggle with it. Like she wants to ask these burning questions, but I also felt like she didn't want to upset him or like
Yes.
make it uncomfortable. But she needed to know. So it just there's a lot going on there, and I could read that with Bella and how she played it. So I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
And again, like even like the small little quips, like Joel kept saying we should do this more often, like going on these trail rides or patrol because he missed that what they did in the first season. And Ellie like usually cracking jokes, asking a bunch of questions. She's kind of silent. She and you should know if you in a relationship, that's something not right.
Exactly. But the relationship, it seems like he wants to fix, but he waits for Ellie to drive. It's her move all the time on that. He can do all these other things and he's in control, but that's the one thing she is in control of.
Yeah, exactly. Even like when you try to like really play the father and say you getting tattoos, you hit me with all this teenage drama all of a sudden. It didn't feel right because that's first that's not your kid. She said it herself. It's not even your house, bro. They gave it to you. I just feel like he didn't know how to act. He didn't know what was going on. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, but we're getting here. We're moving on, and then this is the scene that seals the deal. We see Eugene finally, the weed man of the apocalypse. Man, this man is the plug. He has it all going on as far as the best, the driest, purest weed out there. The za, all that stuff. So he's out here and he just says, "Hey man, I got bit. No problems. I'm fine. I just want to see my wife. He wants to see his wife one last time." Ellie, we still see the human side of her, of course.
Yeah.
We got to do it, right? Joel just goes straight to that maniac that he's always been. But this apocalypse has made him over these 20, 30 years. And he already automatically knows he's gonna kill him. If Ellie wasn't there, he would have let him talk. He would have shot him right away.
Right. Joey Pantoliano from Sopranos, The Matrix. Seen him in a whole bunch of stuff in there. HBO really and Warner Brothers really like to hire from in-house, which is cool. They have a lot of great actors. This was just really another great addition from the game. Because again, if you haven't played the game, this was not a part of it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And Joel goes straight to it. Now he always carries with him part of his dad when he gets like super violent during all this apocalypse stuff.
Yeah.
But now he has like the rules to back him up, and he uses that as an excuse. Like they're rules.
Yeah.
And he,
exactly. So it makes me think. Then, I mean, well, no, I wouldn't say that. But when he did save Ellie, was he just using I love you and all this or like using like the fact that it was a possibility that it wouldn't work to justify just murdering everybody. He finds ways to justify going on these violent runs.
Yes, exactly. He totally does. He 100% does.
So, and then to the meat of this scene was when he told Ellie and he lied to her face saying he promises he won't do nothing, won't harm the guy while she goes gets the horses. Which I don't know why they couldn't both go, if he really wanted, he didn't walk together, get the horses, simple. I think she knew walking away he was done. I don't think she was surprised that he killed her.
No, and that's the other thing that they said in the thing. She saw the same look on his face when he said it here, I promise. The same face. And when they showed it back, the end of season 1, it's like the same face. It's so well done by Pedro and the directors to get that exact same look and expression.
Yeah, that's really well done, man. A nice touch. And again, this is what broke it. She's not upset at him for killing the guy. She's upset at him for what it meant and how deeply rooted it was with the real issue she had.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep an eye out. So then, Joel does the thing, tells him pretty much look at the flowers, and he does the deed here. And one thing that sticks with him, which he did tell the guy, if you love somebody, you can always see their face. When Joel got smashed up by Abby, the last face he saw was Ellie's.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff coming back here full circle. Again, as horrible as this scene was, like, character-wise, what happened? Beautiful imagery. The shots were incredible.
Very. And that's one of the great things about the game too. So I'm glad they utilize that and make sure you
Yeah.
see the environment. And
Yeah. And then let me get here, man. Let me get towards the end here. You know, he's doing his whole spiel, straight up lied to Gail. And you can see right through it. And you can see the disgusted look on Ellie when he's doing this. And she's like, you know what? F this. In true Ellie fashion, this is what really happened. And I think Gail really respected her for doing that. I think that led to some stuff later on, and we saw early in the season with Gail and Ellie and how they interacted at the hospital when Ellie woke up. Yeah, Joel completely shell shocked. He couldn't believe that she said this, and I thought this was a beautiful scene. This is really good.
Goes out of his way to get all that Nirvana shit for her, and he narcs on him. What an ungrateful little brat.
Oh man. Yep. Truly, the trust was broken there, but it was justified, man. Again, Bella, absolutely. Do you think some awards are getting passed out off of this episode?
At least I think so. Again, none of the huge stuff. You know, everyone will probably say episode 2 with the awards. They'll probably get nominated for. But I thought this episode delivered so many great smaller performances.
Yeah. Again, the interaction. We got everything. We got the good, we got the bad, we got an acting battle between the two. Like, it was just so well done. After that scene, we got to see the perspective of Joel, which is again something new that we did not see in the game. Joel's perspective, watching Ellie and Dina, watching Seth. And because they changed Joel being on patrol with his brother Tommy from the game and being with Dina instead when he got caught with Abby, this was the last thing Tommy said to Joel. When he left with his kid, to put his kid to bed, he said, "I'll be back. I'll see you next year." That was probably their last interaction.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that when I watched this.
Yeah, which is insane. And then at least, and I think that's what they focused on. I think is it Mary or Maria? They focused on her saying, she was wrong for calling him like a refugee. You mean a lot more to us than what she said earlier in that day. And that was her last interaction with Joel as well.
I'm really glad they put that in there because she was a little dicey in how she talked to Joel in the first couple episodes because he was doing a lot. So I'm really glad they put that in there. And then, we see that this actually happened, more towards that time. In the
series. And it goes on how they play with the narrative because it all seemed like, Joel got bodied and everyone was giving him shit the day it happened. But now you kind of see there's a little more, good before that.
Yeah.
Then the confrontation, Ellie just exploding. For anyone who hasn't played a game, I feel like this gave a lot more context. Just seeing the scene one more time. I was fine with it. I don't think there's anything else here. Anything.
No, you get it.
By that's where they cut it earlier in the season. But she did lie to Gail. She came back and she actually did talk to Joel, man. And I thought that's why she lied to Gail, because they had this moment where she said, she doesn't think she can forgive him, but she's willing to.
I don't know if Nock is willing to forgive Spectrum Wi-Fi after tonight, but let us know what you thought about this scene being in here. This, again, if you didn't play the game, this scene is tacked on to the very end of the game. A lot of discussion online on where this scene should have taken place. Some people thought it was perfect right here in this episode. Others think it should have been added later on, and other people thought it should have been added in the first episode so we know more of the motives and Ellie's passion going forward. I thought it was great in this episode because in this episode, it helps create this big emotional circle that they created. Nock is back. 2 knocks. Which Nock is the real Nock?
Will the real Nock please stand up? This is absolutely ridiculous. Zach, let me know how my sound is coming in. Hopefully, pretty good. Hopefully not too bad.
Good. No, you're crisp. You're good.
This is unbelievable, man. I apologize to the viewers, to all the poppers out there, man. I apologize. What I was trying to ask Zach before I got cut off, Zach just live streamed this game. He just finished it. For someone who streamed it just now and going to see this scene, what'd you think, man? How did they do it? Ellie's last thing she said to Joel being, I'm not I don't think I can forgive you, but I'm willing to try. And then bam, he's gone. How did this
Yeah.
play out for you, man, seeing it live?
It felt like Pedro's done after this episode while watching it. So I liked it. I think it really hits. It's just the final time you'll see these two. And like we talked about in this whole stream here, it creates this whole emotional cycle for the two. And it does it all in one episode. So I liked where they put it. And I thought it played out perfectly too. Again, you're going to do this almost exactly like the game because it was perfect in the game and is one of people's favorite moments from both games.
It is, man. And if you guys seen the behind the scenes, like Neil Druckmann did emphasize to them, like this one right here, this scene's gonna be very important or like very noteworthy for the fans of the game, and they absolutely delivered. I'd even go as far as that they probably did it better than the game. Like this, they were so good. They were so locked in together, man. Just the emotions, everything happened here, the slight changes in what they said. It was just so good, man.
Yeah. The eyes, man. Great graphics on the remaster that I just got done playing. But the eyes, great actors here that sold a lot of the in between and the non-talking moments.
Yeah. No, they really did, man, and that's exactly how you got to do it. Zach, I'm not gonna be able to change the slides, but if you can
Oh,
get
that's
us up.
yeah. Yeah, just great acting, the
Yeah,
tears, and it wasn't overly done. It was just so
no,
smooth.
like I said, I think some awards are gonna be starting to get nominated because they're just so good, man. That's all I gotta say, man. Like, I really appreciated Pedro Pascal as Joel Miller, man. He did his thing, and this is also like, in a sense, this is the passing of the torch. This is now Bella's show.
That's true.
So if you want to see it from that perspective,
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I got a couple questions. I'll ask this one right now before I want to save everything. But do you think viewers will stick with the show now that Pedro is officially gone?
I think they needed this. I think the way I see it, and I'm hopefully I'm right because I want to get a season 4 of The Last of Us. I want to get more, you know, more stuff out of this story. I think if they didn't do this type of episode where Pedro, in a sense, passed it to Bella, that the ratings might have dipped because the people want to see Pedro, they want to see certain things, and the way he went out was pretty gruesome, and you would have had a Glenn moment.
Right. Yeah.
But I think because they did it this way, they might have really helped themselves to get on track and really like, okay, we can accept Bella is the lead, Pedro's gone, or Joel's gone, and now it's Ellie's story. For people who haven't played the game, I think they can accept that now. Yeah, because like I said in the beginning, I thought it was gonna be like another, it's either gonna be a Glenn situation where everyone turns off The Walking Dead, or it'll be a Red Wedding Ned Stark situation where it becomes the biggest thing ever. So I do think they're on the right track.
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't think that. It is the passing of the torch episode, and that's a good way to look at it. Like in wrestling.
Yes, sir.
Like when Cody Rhodes passed the torch to that nobody John Cena at WrestleMania.
Oh, wait. It didn't happen, sadly. But there's still time.
Yeah. All right. This is what's coming. This is the end of the episode. Her in the rain going towards the theater.
Now, I will say this. It's not a critique, but I would have took maybe 10 more minutes of this episode to like just do a little more besides the flashbacks. Where they cut it, I thought we could have did a little more here. That's just me.
What I'm trying to think what scene they're going towards right now, because if it's they can't have, I don't want to give anything away, so I don't want to spoil it, but it can't be like a confrontation. You know what I'm saying?
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the. I just think like that's all I'm gonna say. But I just think they could have did a little more because I feel like we're gonna rush through episode 7. I don't see how we're not gonna rush. That's all I would say.
Yeah, I think we're gonna rush too. Let us know what you think is gonna happen next week in the finale. Shots from next week's finale right here that Knock put in here. One of the funniest lines. I know they purposely put it in the preview for next week. Someone says something that if you played the game, you go, yeah.
There's if you haven't played the game, for whatever reason, like if you haven't played the game at this point and you don't know what's gonna happen, there's a funny meme going on. I like people circle back to this. Walter White, where he's in the car screaming.
Yeah.
I'll find a meme. I'll send you that. There's a funny meme going on, and it'll make sense when you watch the episode.
Okay. Yeah, there is someone who says a line that is in this one of these pictures right here in the trailer for next week, and it's not gonna age well.
It's good to see Isaac back. I thought we didn't get enough of Jeffrey Wright in this season, so
right.
We'll see how. You know what? They might be onto something because I initially said I didn't like that Abby was missing so many episodes. We haven't seen Abby since episode 2, but they have a chance to really reintroduce her as like this ultimate villain. I think for this show, for it to work, they have to play more into her being the villain as opposed to seeing both sides like they did in the game. So I think they can do something really cool here.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. So next season, Isaac is going to be back with the other group. They're going to show how the other group got into the war next season. Yeah. So that's going to be a big chunk of it too. Some newer stuff that wasn't in the game as well. And then, next week, let us know where you think this season will end in the game. I think there's only one way they're going to end this season.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. And I think that's kind of where I thought it was going to end as well.
Yeah. Your drowning pool line basically, set that up.
Yeah. It's confirmed to be 50 minutes next week. Written by Neil Druckmann again and Haley Gross. No official title yet, but the rumored title is Convergence. This will be the finale.
Okay.
So buckle up, everybody.
Buckle up. Some Naughty Dog news, Knock.
Yeah, some Naughty Dog news. So, like, there's a lot of things happening. If you guys watch Zach's stream, there's a lot of people in there. Shout out to everyone who's in there, by the way.
Yeah.
Asking for The Last of Us Part 3. Like, I feel like every comment I was seeing, Last of Us Part 3. Can we get it? What do you hope for? Right now, it's confirmed Naughty Dog is working on Intergalactic. That's the next video game featuring Tati Gabriel, who was in the Uncharted movie. She's also Nora in The Last of Us show we just saw, season 2.
She was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Netflix.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, she's doing the thing.
Yeah.
Hey, she was in The 100 also, back in the day, if you ever seen The 100 on CW.
Oh, shit.
But do you see that picture on top right of a crew? Yes. There's a specific guy next to her. And that is Dalton, who was in Daredevil, who was also Joel's dad in the show. So like Zach said, HBO keeps it in the family. Naughty Dog keeps it in the family as well. Intergalactic is the next big game coming up. So some crossovers here with the game. They have an untitled game that's being rumored. And we're also having rumors of The Last of Us Part 3. I think with the success of the show, as long as it keeps going, for people who've been asking, I do believe we're going to get The Last of Us Part 3. I don't know if you answered it, Zach, if you want to touch briefly on finishing the game and if you thought Last of Us Part 3, some people were asking what happened.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be too big of a game to make. And I don't know if he has a story or not, if Neil does. And I think that since the first 2 games were so big, if he does have a story, it might be this big. Because we talked about what we all kind of want from The Last of Us Part 3 is for Ellie to finally be used for the cure. You got to, if maybe he doesn't have this big of a story to make a game and he just does it in the show.
Yeah. That could be it. I mean, we got another Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin situation where they kind of fill in the blanks before the book comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, that didn't end well, though, so hopefully a lot better than that. But yeah, I kind of agree with Zach. Like, you know, when you kind of fan cast, like this is what we're hoping I'd imagine they would do that. I don't know what else they would be able to do. I don't know how much more story you can get out of it. So it'd be kind of tough. But it's a money-making property right now, so I can see them wanting to do it, but I just don't want them to dilute the story to like just get money.
Right. So the only other thing that they could do is find someone who knows how to do that procedure, like Abby's dad, which I don't know how you do that and find them and then connect all the pieces together. That's a very large story to do. Obviously, they can find someone and cheat on TV and have it done with like a ham radio.
Yeah, you're really gonna have to sell it to make a full game. Like you're talking about like what 50 hours, and a reason to really go through the whole story. So I mean, I believe in him. I know Dog hasn't let me down so far. So if they were to do it, I would trust them. It's just gonna take a lot. So I wouldn't get my hopes up. I wouldn't think this game would, if it was to come out, I wouldn't expect it for another 10 years. So I wouldn't get my hopes up too much.
100% agree.
But yeah, that's part 6. I mean, episode 6. If you want to get to the scores, Zach, out of 10, what do you got for episode 6?
For episode 6, I'm going to give it a 7.9. I thought everything was great in it. It seems like a low score, but it's just like I was talking, Knock. I don't know if I would have enjoyed this episode as much as I did if I didn't play the games. I'm glad that they hit these notes. They did the fan service. They got me oohing and on because they hit this and they did that and they did that from the game, and it's very beautiful. It's just, yeah. If you understand, like, I guess what I'm saying, I don't know if I would have enjoyed this as not someone who played the game. I think that's why I'm just going to drop the score a little bit, but I'll be rewatching it this week, so maybe I'll up it again, and we'll see.
Yeah, I can agree with Zach on that. I'm gonna give it 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was just a strong episode, very strong acting, but a lot of my concern with the shorter season and these short seasons is I feel like we're gonna have to rush through next episode. I don't know how we hit all the beats properly. Like I said, this is great for the fans of the game, but to really complete the story, I feel like there's a lot missing. I feel like we had a lot of time away from Abby, a lot of time away from her group, a lot of different characters here that we haven't seen. So I'm just hoping they could do it justice. But then we have the finale next week with 7 episodes, and we might have to wait another 2 years for the next part. So I don't know how you keep a consistent, balance, so. And keep people's interest, because after there's so much stuff out, people are gonna lose interest. So that's kind of affecting how I'm viewing the show, knowing I'm gonna have to wait another 2 years. Yeah. But I'm gonna give it 8.5 out of 10, and I think they did a really good job.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. I'll just give it a solid 8 because I'm looking at Pedro's eyes right there, and he sold me. I had tears in my eyes during some of the stuff with these two. So. Yeah, it's just again knowing that we
never lie.
Nope. Yeah, it was really good. And I do love how they interchanged. When she told Catherine O'Hara, she looked at Joel and said, "You swore, not you promised," like he said in this episode.
Yes.
You swore, like they did at the very end of season 1. I'm glad that they talked about that in the post show on The Last of Us.
That's a great point. That's confirmation to Joel that she's not really mad about this. She's mad about that, and she knows. That was a great point, actually.
Yeah, there's just a lot of really great stuff here. But again, it's hard to get into something when like, I don't know how to say it. I know that we're going to have to wait too long for me, at least, for another season of this. 2 years is too long to make a TV show, in my opinion.
100%, man. I'm going to 24 right now, and I'm loving it. This every year would have been incredible.
Hell yeah! But this is great. It's a great ride so far. So you got trust in Neil and the team.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes, man. Again, 2 people who love The Last of Us. I played it a few years ago. Zach just beat it, and he's watching the show right now. We'll check you guys out next week for the finale. Spectrum's getting a 0 out of 10 for me. I'll be holding payment after this. This is incredibly terrible. But we'll see you guys next week. Shout out to all the poppers, floppers, and rampagers. Monday, the season finale. So thank you for sticking with your boys. Zach, the main man, the final boss Knock. Peace out, y'all. We'll see you next time.